out the early parts of the stream, I'm going back to the set in previous parts. The VODs are on Twitch at the moment. I've uploaded all previous segments to YouTube. They're now in a playlist on YouTube. The links, I believe I've got a link in the description. Here on Twitch. I'll do some fiddling about with that after the stream, probably to make sure that that's there. So, first of all, hello. I'm Legroom2368. I've been doing this stream for about a month now. It's good to see you. We're going to be playing some more Dwarf Fortress tonight, again until about 9 PM UK time. It's going to be good fun. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more active than last week's stream. Last week we were doing a lot of administrative work, so we only advanced the in-game clock by a couple of months. Hopefully now that that administrative load has been dealt with, we can spend a lot more of this stream making some progress. Sorry, introductory song, as you might have seen on the title card. New Hero in Town by MacLeod. Making sure I'm fulfilling my open source musical rules. Yeah, so let's pop on in. So, okay, loaded. There we are. We have here bolt tongs. We have currently 18 pops, and they are not best pleased, largely because they've had to deal with a whole bunch of stuff, unpleasant stuff. So, tasks I'm setting myself for this evening. I'm wanting to move stuff from the temporary location where a lot of my industry is, which is right at the surface. So scrolling up to the surface. I've just put things here for the sake of there being a place where things are. I'm going to take things away from here and move them deeper into the fortress. So down into, these sorts of layers. So I've got better protection, better control over things. Things are less likely to be interrupted by wild animals, which is something that's kept happening. We're being attacked by tick men on the surface at the moment, which is not as fun as it sounds. I also want to maybe deal with some clothing stuff, and I don't need to produce much clothing because, as you can see on screen here, there is a lot of clothing kind of left over from the reclamation. So making clear what I mean by reclamation first, really. So in Dwarf Fortress, this is a colony sim with a procedurally generated world and history. So I procedurally generated this world, and what we are doing here is we are going, instead of establishing a virgin colony, a new town for these dwarves, we have gone to a place where a previous, in the procedurally generated history, a previous group of dwarves established a town which then fell into ruin. So this is a Mines of Moria type situation where we had a thriving town that is no longer existent. I did a little bit of a deep dive into its history in the first stream. I might do another one, in a few episodes' time, so you can kind of be a nice recap. But pretty much everything here that's excavated out, I say pretty much, not quite everything, but pretty much everything here that's excavated out is by the previous inhabitants. So I've got a lot of clothes left over from the before times, so to speak. So I don't really feel the need to set up clothing industry in the short term, because there's gloves and underwear and coats and shoes and gloves and togas and robes and hat and hoods and all sorts of stuff just everywhere. So people have the opportunity to go and put some clothes on when they feel the need to. But I do. Is that yeah, cool. Sorry, just wasn't sure if that was being classed as a bedroom. I do feel the need to have the potential for future, so I might do some stuff with that this evening. And I am going to try and set up other bits of industry that I haven't got around to doing yet. And if we have time this stream, I'm also going to try and work out where I want to have future metalworking, with the potential for pivoting it over to working with magma. So something that we raised in the last two streams, the underlying geology of this site is largely metamorphic and igneous rock. So this Dwarf Fortress, it's a world generator. It starts from the geology and works up. Because I'm working with igneous rock and metamorphic rock, I have limited access to coal and limited access to flux stone. Flux stone being the carbonate stones that are used for iron purification in the steel making process in the game. Because I'm short on those two materials, I'm very much interested in getting access to magma as a heat source earlier than I traditionally would, because it means I'm not spending a unit of fuel every time I want to smelt a unit of ore into a set of bars, and also I'm not using a unit of fuel every time I wanted to turn metal bars into an object, and every time I want to melt down an object, given that there's a lot of previously created stuff here that I might not want to keep high hands on. Iron tables and platinum cabinets are quite nice, but I could use that material to either make high quality ones later on or for other uses. The copper armor is useful if you have a shortage of other materials, but otherwise you might as well be working with bronze or working with, if you can get your hands on iron and steel. And when I've got this much, iron equipment just literally lying on the floor, I might as well melt down the copper, use that copper for other things, particularly increasing the value in important places. So having a way I can melt equipment down to reclaim some of that metal without using fuel is going to be very valuable to me. And I could probably find my way down to magma by just finding a safe-ish place in the lowest cavern layer that isn't directly attaching to my fortress, because learning from my mistakes, and digging down. So I know that in... Okay, so there is layer 3 caverns, mud appearing. That's good. I know that from previous games, you have your surface, then you've got a bunch of material layers, so make sure I'm gesturing on camera. Bunch of material layers. You have the 3 cavern layers. So your upper cavern layer, which has this kind of yellowish floor fungus. You have your middle cavern layer, which is kind of a bluish, which due to I don't know if it is a bug, but it's like an established thing, I think is this layer. The 3rd cavern layer, which has like a purplish floor fungus, and then below that, some distance below that, you have the magma sea, which is just almost completely filled with lava, and then below that there is some more weirdness, which we'll get to, in 6 or 7 episodes time, or whenever I find that kind of stuff. The weirdness that's happening here that's stopping the fungus spawn is this cavern layer has no water in it, and I believe there is it's either a world generation bug or an intentional element where the mud that the mud that forms on the cavern floor that would normally be colonized by the fungus doesn't grow that fungus if there's no water in that layer. So that's a noteworthy thing, especially as I have limited water on the surface. So if I'm wanting to pump water up to create a cistern or something, which is something I'm toying with, I'm going to have to work from kind of the water in this first cavern layer. Oh yeah, another thing I want to do is further secure my fortress against bigger threats. I'm going to be starting to generate some wealth. I'm going to be starting to generate some problems. This space here is a hole that something that can climb or that can fly could just walk straight, climb or fly rather than walk straight into my fortress. I believe this is a road generated in world creation. I believe. I don't know if I need to wall this off to stop spawns. Or put a drawbridge or something in its way. I might do some research later on, or try and talk to some people on the subreddit. I know that unpleasant individuals can spawn in the cavern layers across the whole border. I don't know if this wall this edge of the map would count. So yeah, goals for today. Little bit of economic work. I've set, the work orders that I set from last week are all in place, so I've got some fairly basic things going on. Though I will admit, I don't think I have a kitchen. No, I do. I've got a kitchen that I set aside for cheese making, didn't I? So we've got those set up so that we're going to be Holmes, having access to make sure we've got access to all of our basic needs. I might start putting some stuff into those in terms of resources, and here are some spaces I want to put some workshops into. So this is the last thing I did last week, I believe, was start to set up these two little companies. So a workshop with space for a statue and some other bits to help make people who work in there happier, and a stockpile space. So yeah, I want to do some interior design planning. So working out where I want my workshops and storage for workshops, because I do not need 11, 17, 27, 37, 30, yeah, I don't need 43 metalsmiths workshops on one layer, never mind all the ones over here. This is an absolutely preposterous number of metalsmiths workshops for a population of 18 dwarves. But I also want to make my dwarves happier, and to doing that I need to provide them some good facilities. So something I did last stream was I put a temple in to make sure that they could meet their needs for prayer. Just trying to remember where I did that. Looking at the mini-map, it should be a nice empty square room, I remember. And my gut is saying it was somewhere over here. Probably that one, yeah. So just to make sure those needs are met. I might do a bit of a deep dive into my culture's procedurally generated deities, again in a future stream, but for the moment that will do. Yeah, so let's... Is there anything I need to do now in the short term? Right. So, there's stuff directly above these workshops. Not a massive fan of that. Nothing directly below them, which I am a fan of. So the reason I'm checking this is with a workshop, if I'm wanting to convert the same space, which is probably useful for setting up stockpiles and things, into working with magma, I'm going to want to flood some of the space immediately below it with magma. Doable, but tricky for various reasons. If I can set up the working space so that I can do that now, wonderful. I'd also want to, because that's more awkward over a larger space, I'm going to want to compress that down. This means that if I'm wanting to feed multiple workshops, I'm going to want to use verticality upwards to do my stockpiles. So instead of having to traipse, 15 spaces left or 15 spaces north to find the raw materials that they're working with, they just need to go 3 tiles and then up a set of stairs. Because up and down movement in Dwarf Fortress is exactly the same pathfinding, exactly the same weight, exactly the same time taken as your left, left, right, up, down, left, right, north, south, east, west. To compared to the vertical. So vertical space is really useful for working with large workshop setups and working with, especially when you work with heavy materials, which we will if we're doing smelting, because a boulder of hematite is a heavy material. So I'm looking for a space where I've got nothing or nothing of value underneath a space I can use for workshops, and again, nothing or nothing of value immediately above. So here again, there's bedrooms above, which I have a lot of bedrooms. I don't have a lot of dwarves, so I could just bulldoze all of that space. I could again kind of break down all of this, flood one of these chambers, and use that. That might not be a bad shout actually. And then I've got this space above for and then I can start using these spaces for guild halls and hospitals and barracks and all of those fun bits. Actually, there's a point. Is there a place where I could just put a stairwell in? Yeah, somewhere around here actually. I could just put a stairwell all the way down. It isn't breaking into anything obnoxious. I'm going to blueprint that now, because if I don't, then I'll forget, and that strikes me as useful, because currently there's a lot of kind of, when people want to change layers, they've got to walk around all the existing ramps that were put in by the previous inhabitants, and that's not ideal in terms of movement efficiency. So I just blueprinted those in. I know that goes all the way down without intersecting with anything else. So I can set those to construct when I feel like it. So other things to pay attention to: interrupted with a tickman, interrupted by a tickman, interrupted by a tickman. Tickman is fighting. Do I have any other dangerous things kicking about? I've got this wild animal, I've got some blind cave ogres and the giant jumping spider. Okay, so I am in a savage biome. So giant animals can show up. Slightly adorable in a non-arachnophobic way. And then there is no tickmen anymore, so I can feel free to close those. If there are tickmen, nobody can see them. Yeah, that looks like a dead tickman. There's no kit either, and a random Gorlak. Okay. So why are people upset? Let's have a look at you. You're confident Havadorf. Frustrated after being unable to press accounts. Afraid after experiencing trauma. Delighted to have memory drink. Thoughts: vengeful, afraid, frustrated, horrifying after seeing a dead body, angry, dwell upon being forced to judge the decay of a friend. Okay, that's a tricky one. So I don't know if it's a bug or if it's deliberately included. I think it's a combination of a deliberate and a deliberate element and a bug. The the underground spaces that were mined out in World Gen count for not a lot of purposes as exterior spaces, outside spaces. I think it's because the way the way the world generation is imported into the game space, the playable space. And that means that when we had those two dwarves killed by the giant spider 3 weeks ago, because we had a giant cave spider problem happening when I was trying to establish our first farm, I couldn't. I tried to set up some tombs for the two dwarves that were used there, and in this kind of chamber of pillars, which I thought was a very kind of cool place to put the two tombs, and it didn't work. I put the sarcophagi in there, I assigned them, and because they were considered as exterior spaces, the dwarves wouldn't bury anybody in them because they were considered outside. So I had to. It took a while for me to work out what was going on with that. I think I ended up looking some stuff up on the bug tracker in between streams, and that led me to understand, okay, I need to dig out a fresh space, hence these two tombs. But in the meantime, one of my original 7 dwarves rotted to death, like his body rotted away in the middle of the field, which was getting a lot of through traffic. So that's a very traumatic event for a lot of dwarves. So I'm going to be working against that for some time. Anyway, where were we? So you're annoyed for very good reasons. I don't think I can overcome that just by making people happy. Why are you annoyed? Vengeful during the initial conflict. Doesn't seem to feel anything after dead bodies. Needs. There we go. Unfocused after being unable to acquire. Unfocused after doing nothing creative. Lack of troublemaking after not learning. Lack of strength. Unable to make merry. Unable to take it easy. Unable to focus after being away from people. So I need a functioning tavern. That's what I'm seeing here. I think I got. Is this not a? I thought I'd set this up as a. I thought I'd set that up as a tavern. I thought that was a tavern. My apologies. That's worthwhile to know because that is a smithing guild hall. Which I do have a smithing guild hall. I don't have any problems with that existing. But let's create that as a new tavern, which will be citizens and long-term residents only. So tavern is needed for dwarves to make merry. It'll act as a place where dwarves go specifically to drink and have a good time. The other thing I'm going to do is add this to Gilded Apple, and there is these associated rooms so that when I start opening it to guests, which I do intend to do so a lot more long term, they can come and enjoy themselves. But yeah, that's going to help people feel better. The space downstairs is going to help people feel better. The temple rather, and hopefully moving some of my stonecrafts to stonecrafts. Is it stonecrafts? No, I think one of these was going to be leatherworking, and I think that one was going to be leatherworking. This one's going to be generic crafting, mostly bone crafting. So let's. that wasn't the hotkey I wanted to hit. Unpausing the game. Competent miner. Uneasy dwelling on seeing a dead body. Thoughts. Uneasy, uneasy, annoyed without having a drink without using a goblin. Couple mug. Well, today's your lucky day, my friend. Because we're going to be fixing that problem. Milk animal has been completed. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah, that's... Accept custom leather. Ooh. Is it input with an N or an M? Dyslexia doesn't help me here. I think it's with an M. Because I always think it's with the N, because it's you put it in. But I think that's a trap, a cognitive trap. Okay, what's just been cancelled? Cancel plant seeds needs plump helmet spawn. Right, that's fine. Let's double check the kitchen menu, just in case there's anything I shouldn't be, I'm drinking and I shouldn't be drinking. Or eating rather, and I should be drinking instead. Nope, that all looks good to me. How am I doing for plump helmets? There should be loads. Yeah, loads. Grand. Because I am farming them down here in this little bit of the caverns that I've covered up. Skull. Okay. Pretty cool. And struck tetrahedrite. That's even cooler. So tetrahedrite is an ore of copper and silver, which can be quite nice to work with. It's also kind of a pretty silvery white colour with that. And going to become a cavey sow. I really, really hope this furrowed earth grows into get leveled out or something into to normal soil soon, because I want to get these dwarves inside. Dwarves, these animals into a protectable space soon. Sorry, I'm looking around here in case there's any plants I can use for cloth fibres. Long grass, orange trees, ray meat. Okay. Yeah, so I can pivot that way. So artifact of the order that the devs added different specific elements to the game. Made some masterpiece barrels. Do I have a kitchen? I don't. I thought I built a kitchen. Let's fix that. Sorry, there was a noise there, and then outside, dogs barking quite loudly. Hopefully it doesn't keep coming across on the microphone. I'm having to game today with the window very much open, the skylight very much open, just because in the UK at the moment it is, well, at least around here, it is unpleasantly warm. I do not deal well with heat, and it is currently 29 degrees Celsius in this room. It's a dry heat at least, but it is 29 degrees Celsius in this room as we speak, which is warmer than I can generally manage. Is not appreciated. What are my tasks sitting like? Put stone in a stockpile, you're digging. A lot of people storing stuff. Harvesting, making a drink. Penning and pasturing it. Yeah, the issue of, like, good thing about having our animals out the front of our fortress, given that that is more or less the only way to get in. Yeah, because of this. Otherwise, you've got this big drop. Uh, the only way to get in is that, as we can see, when things get attacked, when things are trying to attack the fortress, they run into the dogs and the axe and everything else. The frustrating element of that is when that conflict is finished, those animals are scattered to the winds, and every single one of those animals needs to be manually brought back by a dwarf to the pasture. So that's a lot of jobs that end up happening, which can be a little time consuming. Yeah, so got some fat rendering jobs there because there was we were attacked by some giant Kias towards the end of last stream. I need to set up some. Struck lignite. That's nice. Actually, I'm going to set that to no. Set that to auto mine. So from the setting, I've got it set as a lower priority than the normal digging orders for emptying the space, but they will dig out that entire vein. So I should have access to all of that coal. There's the jet. I'm going to. Now I can't remember how to set up stockpile for bones. I think it's under corpses, but it might be under refuse. There we are, refuse. Skulls, all bones, all teeth, all horns, hooves, all shells, all. And then corpses, all, and then remove man, remove dwarf, elf, goblin. So the idea being corpses get brought there, and because it's a refuse stockpile, they break down into their constituent parts. I'm trying to remove the body, the bodies of creatures that the dwarves consider people, so things that can learn. So that's no animal men, that's no goblins, dwarf, humans. That's the other one. I should remember that. I am, after all, myself a human. Oh, a human was caught by animals, by my man thing. So it's it's animal things, angels. I believe angels are butcherable. Yeah, all of this stuff. Cool. And that is going to be bones for crafting. And then workshops, crafts, there. And again, let's work with my giant stack of garnierite blocks because of this area I cleared to try and get some internal pasturing. I hope it works. I might, if I don't get any grass growth or fungus growth in this space over the course of today's stream, I'm going to do some research off stream about furrowed loam to see if there is a way to make it happen. I'm getting some screams. There is a giant blind cave ogre coming up to my upper cavern layer. This is concerning. Is it trying to get into the fortress? It might be. I think that I think that that's open. Yeah. Let's check the schedule here in case they aren't. Yep, so it's winter is training. Okay, so they are training at the moment. Let's just set you there, just in case those blind cave ogres are trying to get into the fortress. So that's getting my militia dwarves to pop that. Right, let's go up, and then workshops, unpausing, clothing and leather, leatherworks. Give the guy your blocks. The butcher is now breaking apart the skeletons the mangled skeletons that have been put into there, which is good because that means that we'll have bones for this. Let's set a work order. Totem. Make totems. So that's going to be unrotten totemable body part is greater than 5, and totems is less than, let's say 25. For the sake of argument, let's make 5 totems. So it's 5 skulls, they make 5 totems. And bone bolts. Number of bolts, material, bone, no, adjective, bone. There we go. Amount of bone bolts is less than 10. Let's make that 100. Bone body part is it's greater than 10. They make 10 bone bolts. So something that has become I've become acutely aware of is I've done absolutely nothing to do any ranged no crossbowman training, no bowyears workshop, so on and so forth. This isn't great. Especially when, I've got, big flying enemies, or the creatures that shoot webs, and all of these things. Do I have a prepared meal stockpile? Prepared meals, there we go. Yeah. Struck petrified wood, that's quite cool, because it's a very light stone. 6 said. Add a new task, leather backpack. So backpacks allow military dwarves, actually, leather water skin as well. So backpacks allow a military dwarf to carry food with them. Water skins allow a military dwarf to have a drink with them. Both of these two things mean that our military dwarves don't get upset on long patrols. This is a thing that we might have noticed when we were exploring the caverns in the previous streams. My military dwarves were getting thirsty because they were in the middle of nowhere with nothing to drink. I'm getting quite annoyed because of that. Oh. Okay. So they did fight the blind cave ogres, but there are more of those blind cave ogres that have come into the fortress. So there is this blind cave ogre who is seriously injured. And where did the other one come from? So that's one of them. Did the other one just decide to get past them somehow? You, my friend, are a serious threat. Right, let's change the order then to be a kill order across those two targets. Also, Mission Commander health description. Right ear is mangled, head is torn open, skull is dented. Oh, for goodness sake. Why is your head dented? You should be wearing a helmet. Items. Bismuth bronze helm. Yeah, should have helped. Let's have a look at this combat log for Id's Saltacot. Alright. I mean, you're doing okay. Where did the strike that injured you come from? There we go. Blind Cave Ogre breaks the thing. So this is a combat log. This is the step-by-step of the fight. I'm kind of scrolling back through it quickly. The orange is attacks made against one of our dwarves. Well, actions made by actions that are the direct consequence of an enemy unit. The cyan is actions that are the direct consequence of one of our guys. Purple is, I think, grappling elements. Yellow is everything. Here we go. Blind Cave Ogre strikes the Mission Commander with the shot blocked by the copper shield. There we go. The Mission Commander bashes the Blind Cave Ogre with the neck with the iron mace, bruising the muscle. Strikes the Mission Commander with the shot blocked. Blind Cave Ogre right hand with the iron mace. Punches the Militia Commander with the right ear with his right hand, which explodes the gore, pulls the head, tearing apart the muscle, denting the skull. An artery surrounded by the attack, head of the skull has been torn. Okay, a big heavy shot to the head, might be bleeding out, but is still fighting. Issue is, that Blind Cave Ogre is being beaten to heck, but hammers aren't a great job for dealing with it. Hammers and maces aren't a great job for dealing with big fleshy things. That's why you want spears and axes. But I don't have the population base to have like a variety of different weapon skilled people in militia. So I was just hoping that pure skill would get me through it. Apparently that is not the case. Whilst I'm down here, get this wall in place before I forget entirely. Oh, I need to put a roof on it as well. Ugh. Ugh. Right, unpause, see if... Okay, he hasn't died. There's a giant olm, which is much less of an issue. Militia Commander cancels rest interrupted by Blind Cave Ogre. It's the other Blind Cave Ogre. Okay, that was a much quicker resolution. Diagnose patient, clean patient. Wounds, yeah. Needs sutures, needs dressing. Head is torn open, right ear is mangled beyond recognition. So hopefully... So you see why I'm quite interested in getting rid of some of these, like getting a better, more secure way of getting up and down the fortress, because you know, even with me setting like a guard to hold the one way in, it was still able to get the Glowing Cave Ogre to get past that, past my dwarves there. I don't know what they were trying to do. Wasn't going to be pleasant for anybody involved. Just checking the current jobs here, making things, butchering animal. That's going to be either got some tone, got bolts and skulls, bolts and skulls. Kill our backpack. It's fine. Health, wounds, treatment scheduled. Yep. Attached to a copper shield. That's a shame. Dwarves that grow attached to items will choose to use that item instead of anything else that they might have access to, which leads to them not equipping better equipment when it's available, which is a shame. Right, so that's... I've got that set up. What? Giant Olm is fighting? I need to set up some cage traps or something down here. Right. So, let's make that possible. Actually, standing orders. Refuse dumping. Books gather random refuse. Yeah. Work orders, there we are. So, mechanism. Let's make rock mechanisms. Greater than 5, less than 3. Now let's make 2. Nope, that's wrong. Make 2 rock mechanisms. And then wooden cage. Just for the sake of argument, the only other material I believe you can make cages out of is metal, and I have no metalsmithing yet. And again, let's go with empty cages. Empty cages is less than 5. Logs available is greater than 5. That way, I'll always have the equipment, the materials available to make a cage trap and reload a cage trap. Forget that giant olms are poisonous. So that is Eid Misty Kinds. That's by let's send somebody down here with actual equipment equipped for a fight. Light above, this is more fighting than I was planning on doing today. But it adds to the excitement. Right, picking out a spot for industry. Right, let's go with, for the sake of argument, nothing below, something above. Nothing below, something above. Okay, I'm not really using this space at the moment, so I might just use this one. There's nothing below here. It's just this above. It's quite centrally located. Yeah, that's... So this is going to be my main smithing hall. This space here. So that I don't forget, let's set this as... and unforbid all of these. I'm not good. These aren't all going to be smithing workshops long term, but for the moment, I'll work with that. So, the thing I'm going to do though is dig out. No, all. Dig out an identically sized space directly underneath, or attempt that to, and then dig out a identically space directly above. So I'll have my workshops, I'll have my stockpiles and storage, and I'll have one thieving or mysterious creature, a giant mole. Okay, that's less of a problem than it would otherwise be. There's nothing dangerous there. You've got plenty of plop helmets. You've got plenty. Look. Stuck praise. Ostriches? What are the ostriches fighting? Stray dog. Yeah, I need some more cage traps. So, set those work orders going. Haven't been formed yet. Traps. Cage trap. So, first and most importantly, I need cage trap there. And traps, cage trap there. No, not there. So I'm trying to put it choke points. There. I'm trying to put them as choke points so that anything that's trying to get closer to the fortress is having to walk into one. There's not really a good spot up here to do that, irritatingly. Well, that'll do it. Yeah. Traps. Cage trap there. So these that should protect us from stuff just wandering in, and then when I know about something nasty, I can raise the drawbridge there. Stroke praise. More tetrahedrite. That's all pretty sweet. Where did I put that working hall? Locations. Go to the smithing hall. Oh, I named it and I didn't assign it because I'm silly sometimes. It was quite deep down, and it was this space, wasn't it? Center location. There we go. So this I can start to set some appropriate stockpiles here. So this one's going to be coal, raw, custom, stone, lignite, and bituminous coal. this one down here, just for the moment at least, is going to be metal ores, economic, oh, no, metal ores, all. Once we're properly up and running, I'll start separating ores by subtype, and then I'll probably do some quantum stockpiling using minecarts. Don't want to be doing that really as part of a. It's a it's a more complicated thing. I can just get rid of those doors. Well, those doors will become available as time ticks on. So what else am I going to want? I'm going to want to put a stairwell in. Let's say I'll put the stairwell in, for the sake of argument, here. I'm leaving a space there so I can put a door in to block off magma. So the idea is I flood this chamber with magma, and that makes it just really easy for me to place my magma forges and smelters and glass furnaces and everything else there. Going forwards. Got a stairwell there, so they will dig out that space. Unforbid these. All of these. So all of the stuff that the whole fortress was made of was considered forbidden when we arrived. So I've had to go and unforbid an awful lot of stuff manually. Just repaint that so it's less eye bleedy. But I know that I theoretically could be doing like carved stairwell up there and up there, but I think I'm just going to do constructed ones for ease of development / redevelopment. Yeah, so got that going. Might just remove these two buildings. Put some smelters in there, so I have the ability to start doing some of the other work I want to. And start removing all of this excess. I'm going to have so many anvils. It's going to be beyond belief. Okay, start of our end of our first year of this fortress. We've only had 2 deaths. We've got quite a few annoyed dwarves, but that is improving steadily. I think we've got food mostly sorted from eggs and random meat that keeps coming out of the caverns. We have trade goods being produced in the form of the totems. We've got we're making use of the already present resources in the fortress, and yeah, life is pretty good. Interrupted by giant olm. Is the giant olm still a problem? Yes. Oh, miasma is a problem. Yes, what is... Is this a caged bug bat? Oh, caged giant mole. Okay, that's something. Thought I had a setup for it. I guess the giant rat leather. Animal. I don't know if a blind cave ogre is classed as a... Somebody is fighting. Take that one, good chitin, skeleton. Still no plant growth over there. A bard is visiting. Why? I have no publicly available citizens only. Other... Okay, helmet stake is... Size... Health... Groups... I mean, he is a part of my culture. Gold trade, so he might be why he counts as a citizen. Creates some cool things. Other helmet snake. That's worrying, but again, now that I've got those cage traps in place, I'm just going to be collecting animals rather than... Yeah, I can't butcher anything because there's nothing to butcher, so that cave ogre is going to be a pain. If I... blind... Yeah, blind cave ogres are accepted in this... Make this corpse stockpile a little bit larger. Why are you unhappy? Sleeping without proper room. Okay. Well, that's an easy fix for us, because I've already set a bunch of bedrooms here. I can just set another wing of bedrooms. Simple as. Furniture, bed. Furniture, bed. These closer to I'll keep building because it doesn't really matter which. They are bedrooms, multi. There we go, and then furniture, cabinet, furniture, cabinet, keep building, he's closest. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yep. And furniture, chest. So dwarves will, when they claim a bedroom, they will store their belongings in that bedroom. So you can see here we've got these cabinets and chests that are used for that purpose. See this marble cabinet that contains trousers and mittens. The less tidy a dwarf is in their inclinations, the less inclined they are to actually put things away. But dwarves also like owning things. So it's not really a bad idea to make sure they have things that they can own, especially nice things. Sparring. Made rock mechanisms. So because I've made some mechanisms, I'm going to put some cage traps on the surface as well, because that way I can capture some of these marauding ne'er-do-wells. Although there's fewer there's not really any choke points. Need more mechanisms. Not really any choke points in our setup, other than like immediately around the front door. And I don't want to be putting stuff immediately around the front door because wagons can't walk over traps. So that's going to affect our ability to receive trade caravans in future. But yeah, hopefully, did he get rid of the Black Cave Ogre skeleton? Nope. There's a stockpile available for it. It's just that there's a lot of jobs. Yeah. A lot of things to go in the corpse stockpile, a lot of things to go in the coal stockpile. Yeah. And there's all the bedrooms to build. And all the metalsmith's forges to destroy. And just the general tasks I've got going on. Yeah. But what I can do, especially now, I can wooden wheelbarrow. So wheelbarrows are important for, let's make 3 of them, stockpile management. So a wheelbarrow is a fairly light object, and any that can be assigned to stockpiles. A dwarf that is working from a stockpile will go grab the wheelbarrow, take it to what it's going to pick up, put whatever it's going to pick up in the wheelbarrow, bring it back, and the weight of what it's bringing back is going to be considered the weight of the wheelbarrow. So it massively speeds up moving big, heavy objects. Particularly useful when you're working with moving, say, a reasonable amount of stone. Now it does put a bit of a logjam in, insofar as we can see here, it limits the number of dwarves that will do the work to the number of wheelbarrows that are available. So if you don't have a wheelbarrow to pick something up with, you don't have the wheelbarrow to pick something up with. But it's still worthwhile, I'll say. Human swordsman is visiting. Human pikeman is visiting. So these guys might be coming to be monster slayers, which could be useful to us. Just having some. I prefer dwarves or elves that come to be. I mean, you don't get very many elves coming to visit as monster slayers. But I prefer humans, not humans. Humans are treated as large creatures, which means that if they become long-term residents, you have to make clothing and armor and equipment that is sized specifically for that person. And that's an extra layer of stuff to manage, which is a bit of a pain. But it's not the end of the world. Right, how are we doing clearing the smithing hall? There we go. Right, workshops, furnaces, smelter. Yeah, that works as a location, as does that. I'm trying to make sure I'm leaving enough of a gap around these spaces so that I can put a wall in if... don't need that for smelting, do I? I can put a wall in if we need to for having a strange mood that has gone wrong. Slate some more removals. These are made from a... Oh, actually, no, let's cancel that construction. Cancel that construction, because I've still got it set to use the closest material, which is not what I'm after here. I'll select material after placement. So I want to use the blocks that we already had kicking about. It's going to take me longer, but it means I'm not wasting materials. So you can construct things out of raw materials, out of raw stone, raw wood, so forth. But there is, if you are willing to put the time and work into making blocks, which I have because I haven't been doing very much by the way of large-scale mining, quarrying, you have axe. To unforbid, don't I? You oh, compared to a lamb, nice. Where was I? I don't have very much raw stone, and I've got a lot of things I want to use that stone for. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm turning that raw stone into blocks. You get 4 blocks per rock. Again, with the unforbidding. You get 4 stones per rock, and every block does the job of a rock in construction. So if you're making a thing, then you get effectively free a free rock, which is pretty cool. Can I constructions ramp there with the garnierite blocks? Cage 2 has been completed, cool. These are, yep, these are all loaded. Petitions, there we go. So, Nasnok Poet Ended wishes to reside in Boltong's the purpose of eradicating monsters. So we've seen the problems that we can have if we just let monsters go around, and having a human just in here dealing with this could be pretty cool. Let's have a look at his numbers. So skills, combat, competent pikeman, novice knife user, novice shield user, novice armor user, discipline. Alright, so it's decent combat. Other skills, ambusher, dabbling schemer. Dabbling persuader. Yeah, I don't think he's trying to sneak into our fortress to steal anything, because A, we don't have much, we don't have any artifacts, we don't have much kind of worth stealing, so to speak, and he doesn't have a bunch of, he's not like a talented schemer, or a master liar, or anything like that. And his combat skills are worthy enough, competent pikeman, that I'm willing to give this guy a shot. Yes. So the other thing to note is you've got, this is going to be citizens and long-term residents. Yeah, so that's, he's got somewhere to eat and drink. He's got somewhere to sleep. Or will when he gets long-term residency. And he is going to go down into our caverns and kill things that are causing us problems. This is just going to be his deal. He is going to be a monster hunter in the caverns, which is going to be handy because Lord knows we've had some problems with things in the caverns. So we've got some Dralfers and some bug bats in the caverns. We've got a great horned owl on the surface, which I'm less worried about. We've got some caged animals that I might start doing some training and husbandry with in the future. What are you injured by? Oh, that was Reacher blood. Okay, that's probably from before. I remember seeing somebody. I remember seeing. Was it one of the ogres that was recently seen a Reacher corpse? Yeah. So that's that. Game. I think I need somewhere to kind of centralise all my anvils. I've got too many anvils now. Not a problem that you typically have in a fortress. How much do you melt down an anvil for, I wonder? So breaking down these forges serves me a couple of purposes. The first is it makes the place list for workshops actually usable, because I've got hundreds of metalsmiths forges to handle. It also means that when I'm setting work orders to, make things out of metal, they aren't being assigned to ones that are really far away from my stockpiles. Also, it makes the raw materials they're made out of more readily available, which is valuable all in its own way. Oh, no, there we go. Yeah. At some point, I am going to need somewhere to store flux stone. Stone, economic, calcite, chalk, dolomite, not lignite, marls. Yep, that's the 5. Straight yak cows give birth to a yak calf. That's good. So yeah, add a new task, requires fuel. So I can kickstart this. Oh, some migrants have arrived. This is going to make my life easier / harder. Population 22, population 23, population 24, okay, 25, 26. Let's see how it shakes out. 27, okay, 9 more, 28. This might double my population, genuinely. 31, 32, 33. I did a fair bit of trading at the last 34, 35. The last time people visited, which does tend to bring 37. Yep, so we have more than doubled our population. 38. Goodness gracious me. Might be the rest of this stream is sorting out jobs again. So many. 39 pops. So let's have a look here at new arrival ranger. Okay. Jeweler. Fish. A lot of fishy dwarves. Herbalist, potash maker, presser engineer. That's our new monster hunter. We've got some peasants as well. Okay. Right. So labour menu. Got my 3 best miners are doing mining, but I can now go to unselect you from doing mining jobs. So I can just give it to a peasant. Woodcutters. 2 best woodcutters. Is that my 2 best woodcutters? No, you're a legendary woodcutter. Let's go. Let's take it off. Yeah, just reducing the amount of jobs that people have to do. The ranger is a novice marks dwarf. Let's have a hunter. He's a ranger, so he should have come with a crossbow. So I don't need to worry about that. I'm producing bone bolts, which are terrible in terms of resources, but adequate planter, novice planter. No one else is any better. Fisher dwarves, I do not need. Maybe 1, just because there's nowhere for them to fish other than the caverns. Plant gatherers. I should put somebody who's actually an herbalist involved in that. Stonecutters. Again, nobody has shown up as any of the base skills for the top end. Crafting. You're a competent bone carver. Animal management. Here we go. Here we go. Adequate milker. Novice animal trainer. This is a job that's got a lot of things going on with it. A lot of tasks involved. Get another presser. Fibre crafts. Take a job away from you, give it to you. Jewellery. Legendary gem setter, legendary gem cutter. Yes, please. Kitchen work. Who hasn't got a job? Again. Add it to one of you. Take it away from one of you. Add it to one of you. For the sake of argument, metalsmithing. So, yeah. Take your job away, give it to you. Right, so I've now got 39 pops. I can add some more dwarves to my squad of dwarves. Novice shield user, novice armor user. No assigned tasks. Novice shield user, novice armor user. No assigned tasks. Do I go to 5? Stress. Training need. Oh, so this is a little sub-menu added by DFAC that lets me sort this menu by how much they want or how good they can get. Ranks everybody in my fortress by melee effectiveness. Let's go for 5. I've already lost one skilled dwarf to spiders. I don't want to necessarily lose more. And then let's have a look at my nobles and noble assignments. Is there somebody better set for being the manager? Not really. Like the broker could. Better set for being the broker. Adequate appraiser, the expedition leader again. Should be alright. Bookkeeper. Expert record keeper, adept record keeper, talented record keeper. Yeah, should be alright. So that's those things dealt with. Right. So you've got no jobs. You've got no skills. Right, let's make one of you a tavern keeper then. Just to make sure that people can get their hands on a delicious beverage. See the details. Add a tavern keeper. I think you'll go with no job. Nope, you're a guy I've set to be labour menu, stonecrafter. Well, you don't have any skill in it, so I can just throw someone else at the job. Peasant. Go. And labour menu. I've got 3 miners. That's more or less all I want for the moment. 2 woodcutters, 1 hunter, 2 planters, so that I can. No, I need skill in this. I need. What's 5 fibre crafts? Yeah, let's give that to you. At the moment. Kitchen work, metalsmithing. Everybody hauls. Only select to do this. Only select to do this again. That's a. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Let's further check. Yep, kitchen is making sense in terms of what they will eat and drink. Well, use for cooking and not use for cooking. Stone use I've already dealt with. Yeah, so we're looking good. I'm going to need to set a bunch of extra bedrooms again. So where was that set of bedrooms I'd added last time? Wasn't this far down, was it? And I know it was over here. I thought it was further into that corner. There we go. So I'm using the orange marks on the minimap to say, okay, this is a place that you set this up. Bed. I believe that I mentioned on a previous stream that I have found myself getting stuck in a cycle in some of my previous fortresses, where every migrant wave, I'd get a whole bunch of dwarves showing up and being like, yeah, I want a bedroom. And so I'd dig out a bedroom, make all the bits for a bedroom. And the amount of value that I'd be adding to the fortress by doing that was sufficient to massively increase the size of my next migrant wave. So over the course of a year, I'd go from about 30 dwarves to about 150, and I'd need to increase the production of everything else massively and cause me huge problems. Hopefully that isn't starting here. But flip side is, all of these extra dwarves means all of these hauling jobs that are set up should be getting done relatively quickly, just because there's so many of them, so many people available to do them. Okay. Right. Now, if I go to the surface, somebody's washed some of their blood off. I can produce, workshop, furnaces, wood furnace. Cancel construction, because I once again have set it to... I'm terrible at forgetting that I've added settings in. I was using the material I wanted to, but that's fine. So that's fine. Create a masterpiece. Cat cage. Pipe lavish meals have been completed. Bed has been completed. Going to be a stray donkey. That is nice. Gather some plants just for the sake of argument. So I've got the more materials. I've got a male and a female Dwarf. Nice. That's going to be helpful long term. They grow big, do Dwarfers, so they're good sources of meat and other materials. They're a horse-like animal that grow to be, I believe, somewhere in the region of the size of an elephant. So, yeah, it's quite nice. I've expanded my militia to 5 people, haven't I? So, another backpack. Let's make another 3. Water skin. Let's make another 3, just for the sake of argument there. Not making any recurring ones, just making sure this is set to... The bed's been completed. Cool. Everybody is well, most everybody's pretty neutral. Some people are a little annoyed, but that's almost certainly because they've, had to watch and smell their friends rot, which is not ideal. Have I built that wood furnace? Yes, we have. Add a new task, make charcoal. So that should be enough to kickstart my coal production through these work orders. So I have hit a coal vein now, so I don't feel as guilty about automating some coal work. Well, we dug out a coal vein, I should say. There have been other veins kicking about. I should also probably, just for the sake of tidiness, petitions. I don't need more than one monster hunter really at the moment. Let's set up a stockpile. Accept custom furniture and anvils. All. And then of any metal. Any quality. It's just so I've got somewhere to stick all the anvils I'm clearing. So yeah, got this little bit of something going on. Going to my update equipment. And okay, just unblocking a bunch of stuff so I can I'm not going to unforbid all because that's going to cause me problems down the ways with a lot of the other bits and pieces I want to deal with. Sorry, I'm not being very good with my words today. I'm not trying to unforbid everything because I'm trying to not have like all of the webs that are in the caverns just be automatically gathered, because that's a good way to get a lot of dwarves eaten by nasty things. Rock crystal, nice. So rock crystals are useful for glass making high value glass and glass materials, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I've got a lot of anvils. Yeah. All set for dismantling. If I just remove all of this and then I can just kind of carve up these into like sub-rooms for offices and everything else, it's probably the best way to do this. Just because like 6 metalsmith's forges is excessive. Never mind however many dozen I have here. Council's drink. Lost or destroyed, okay. Right, so the other thing I need to do is find all the animals that were brought with this brought by these migrants, yeah, pets and similar, and put them in their appropriate thing. So largely it's the bunny for the for birds. There's a duckling, some goslings, and for cats. Oh, cat's just grown up as I was looking at the menu. Yeah, I haven't set up any animal training yet, so all of my little caged animals down here are going to be untrained for a little while. That's fine. Sorry, I keep thinking about the labour menu. I keep thinking about these folks that just don't have any particular jobs. Whether it's worth giving them to take some jobs off people who are kind of overburdened. I've got a lot of jobs in the crafter section. And I've only got one workshop for each of these things anyway, so it's not like I'm going to be sitting here with a huge amount of stuff. But okay, that's yeah, so much copper gear. Crystal. It's unrotten fermentable plants. Labor kitchen. Did I just gather some plants that could have been eaten or drunk and that they got cooked? Probably. Oh, hello. Someone has been possessed. A moody dwarf is claiming a workshop. This could go really well or really badly. Either or. Okay, he's claiming a crafts dwarf's workshop, and let's grab some tower cap logs. Ranger is hunting. Okay, so that's fine. A little worried about the cave crocodile, but gun and mysterious construction. So he's making something out. So this is our first artifact. Making something out of 3 sets of tower cap logs and of some rough shawls. I do think I should probably get some gem cutting set up at some point. It's easy value to add to things. So far so good. We wasn't after shells, which would have been a real problem here for us. Right, there's no shields. What? I thought there was shields. Stocks. shields, bucklers. Okay. Why are they saying that there's no... Does it technically belong to someone? Is that what that... Is that what that bracket is supposed to represent? Kitchen. Because I've just set a bunch of plants to be gathered, so I might be seeing a lot of plants I hadn't seen before show up in things like this. But yeah, no, everything seems okay. Close the military menu before I make any mistakes. Dwarf is working. Again, this is a little element added by DF Hack to help me. Just a lot of little quality of life stuff that isn't unreasonable to have in the game. Tower Cap Scepter. She offers it to the Gleeful Belle. Okay, that's pretty sweet. It's a pretty cool thing to have. Yeah, so made our first artifact. I appreciate that I haven't done much this evening other than set a bunch of workshops to be destroyed. I built the wall. Did that finish building? Oh, no, I need a... That's vexing. I think what I need to do is... Yeah. If I quarry out that space, and then I ramp that space, then I can put the floor in there and just build a new wall. Constructions, floor. Blocks. So I'm just trying to set this up because though you can only do constructions that you have a route to get to, so the way I queued up that action meant that I could build this bit of the ceiling. I did set those all up as floors, didn't I? I've got a real bad habit of setting these things up as walls. Build into the wall there. Yeah. Again, it's just everything is getting done much quicker with all of these dwarves being in and doing stuff. Look at this. I set a job to be done and it gets done. Love it. Is it snowing? Oh no, it's just flowers, mounted flowers. That's quite pretty. Oh, thieving mischievous creature, honey badger. Again, not terribly worried about that. Is there a sheep all the way down there? Is that not set into the pasture, or is it just scared off? Yeah, everything is set to be either in a thing or is in a cage, so not a big problem. Yeah, combat, KV drow. Maybe just having a bad time, but it's not too big a problem for me. There's just nothing growing there. More regular access to water, I think. Might set up a cistern for some, so I can add some more water into the well. I'd need to do so, set up a pump stack for that. And if I'm setting up a pump stack, I want to do glass working. So that should be so. Let's have a look at. Nope. Don't want to damage. Don't want to change those rules, but refined coal is greater than 2. I thought I'd set a work order for. Oh no, it's you get 1 unit of charcoal for each charcoal you burn here rather than 4, which is what you get from coal working. Cave crocodiles fighting. Right, let's get some people who are actually qualified involved. Rocks, Dwarf, what? Because he decided to fight a cave crocodile unarmed. Bites in the upper body. Bites the brewer in the right lower leg. Bites the brewer in the right foot. And then a lot of just punching an unconscious crocodile. So it doesn't look life-threatening, the injuries that were inflicted by that crocodile. So I'm not hugely worried, but... Swordsdorf is visiting. Trying to conduct a meeting just kind of outside there, are you? Okay. A lot of people are sleeping. Wanting to sleep. Storing item in stockpile. Let's unpause that construction. Making cheese, all of this stuff. Touched by a giant fly? Ugh. You are unpleasant. A large monster shaped with fly Chitin's black, eyes are black. Flying creatures are vexing. Stop producing some cloth, I think. By rendering fats. That's. I've just cleared out a bunch of space down here, haven't I? Yeah, all the space that was all my previously manufacturing halls. So let's workshop, farming. Is it under farming? That's under clothing and leather, isn't it? Loom in garnierite blocks. And then leaving space. Let me just scroll all the way up because the way this menu input works. Garnierite blocks. So the reason I'm using all this garnierite blocks, the floor for the pre-built surface is made out of garnierite. Now, garnierite, if I recall, is an ore, so I can't use that material for anything else. And I can't use it for anything other than construction. And it means I can save other materials for other things. I don't believe it's magma safe, but that's not the end of the world. I should start doing some animal training, I think. Maybe next stream. There's so many things I want to do get sorted in this fortress. And I don't know if it's my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder that's inflicting this upon me, or whether it's just an entirely natural thing. But I keep getting overwhelmed, might be the right word for it. I've got so many things I want to achieve, particularly in this game, in this save, that I don't do any of them. I'm trying to do all of them, and therefore I do none of them. It's frustrating at times because I'm wanting to resolve all of these things, and I just never get round to dealing with the actual. Yeah, I'll approve the swords dwarf. I might regret it long term, but it gives me another monster hunter. And as a dwarf, he is the same size and shape as other dwarves, and therefore I don't have to worry about I'm hearing an animal cry. It's just likely to be that I've got giant flies on the surface, which again, incredibly annoying, because they will distract and disrupt. Forbid. All these statues are pretty nice to have about, I guess. Yeah, there we go. So making coke from lignite, You've got a lignite stockpile there. Got a metal ore stockpile. Yeah, let's actually start doing some gem cutting as well. Workshops. Jeweler. In garnierite blocks. And setting up a custom gems, all rough gems, all rough glass, and then these stockpiles are just ridiculously sized, I will admit. Custom for gems, for cut gems. Summer has arrived. So yeah, all of this things that. So the reason I'm thinking about cloth at the moment isn't to make clothing per se, but it's because I've like the cloth stockpile here, the thread and cloth that's in that have been used for so many injuries that I'm worried of running short. So I've got this pseudo hospital going, which I think next week, looking at the time, I will put some effort into moving underground. Again, still no growth. Yeah, so that's fine. Set some more bits up next week. What am I thinking about? I'm thinking about look at the task list we've got set. How many workshops are places, workshops, Metalsmith Forge. Yeah, you can all get broken down. Get all of that queued up. Because there are too gosh darned many of you. The materials that you're made out of, in some cases, are more useful to me than just your continued existence. Yeah, like, we've got marble there. They don't have very much. Tetrahedrite, bismuthine. You don't get very much bismuth in most places. What's that? Marble door, yeah. Shame. Because when it comes to stone objects, you can't unmake them. You can't uncreate them. You can't melt down a stone thing into its constituent parts, which is a shame when it comes to a lot of these. You can see here at the bottom what the place is made out of. Just very quickly breaking down all of these, adding to my giant pile of anvils. So many. Like malachite, which is it's a copper ore. If people appreciate that not everybody is intimately familiar either with the way Dwarf Fortress uses minerals or geology and metallurgy. But I'm just looking at some of this stuff and going, why oh why have you used... I know that procedural generating, they aren't really thinking about any of that stuff. Well, it's not taken into consideration. You know, you can make it out of this, so it will be made out of this. You know, it's a stone that's available in the area and is technically usable for this task at a pinch, therefore it will pick from a list. But like hematite is your iron ore. It is one of the 3 iron ores. You're going to want to use it for that rather than making a foundry out of it, a forge out of it. That was already done. And then marble again. high value stone. It's nice to look at, has a nice colour, but if in my case, it's the material that I can make steel from, or use in steel making. It has a more important use to me than just being a pretty rock. Yeah, gonna have to really turn up the number of bedrooms. Stop people getting truly despondent. Furniture, chest. So many chests. And furniture, cabinet. No, I just cancelled that, didn't I? Furniture, cabinet. Closest one. Zones, bedrooms, multi. Get another 5 of those. So again, workshops. You've not been set to be removed. Just the ones that are getting missed as I go around. Or the task getting cancelled. Right, those are fine. Yeah, I think I've got all the other ones cancelled. The giant rat. Rat in a cage. Large rat, sorry, let's distinguish a large rat from a giant rat. Coke from lignite has been completed. So yeah, got I have some coal to, in theory, produce stonework with. Yeah, one last thing before I go. I'm going to set garbage dump there. I'm going to set all of this as rubbish. So the idea is that all of this will be dumped in the garbage dump, and then I can fill this with magma at a later date without worrying about melting down all this rock or losing access to all this space. I might dig out I might just wall that in or something. But yeah, pause that there. Nice anvil stockpile, which I'm sure is going to come in useful somehow. Yeah, got a bunch of bedrooms for people to use. Starting to chew through this old stockpile. Still got a lot more up on the surface than I'd really like, but I think I might need to just expand. More on the surface than I'd really like, but I can start to dig out. Well, I've dug out. I don't need to dig out new space to do a lot of the working with, because I now because I've cleared now these halls, or I've got these halls scheduled for clearance. I can relatively easily just go, this is going to be where I do my stone crafting, this is going to be where I do my mechanics work, this is going to be where I do my wood crafting, and just move all of this work into these pre-existing halls, and that should be good enough for the moment. Just whilst I'm thinking about stuff, just going to double check where if the cave crocodile, this one, health description, don't know if that's the cave crocodile they've been told to kill. Just cancel that order, because the only other cave crocodiles on the list are ones that are in cages. Yep, so gonna save up here, gonna leave off here. It has been a pleasure. As always, if you want to follow me on Twitch, pay attention to the stuff I'm releasing on Twitch. That's either way you're watching me now, or if you're watching, or have a look at the link on screen. If you want to check out the YouTube, I have got the previous 3 episodes sat in a playlist now. I'm going to be uploading this as soon as I log off this stream. Be adding that into the playlist. And if you want to follow me on Twitter for advanced warning on streams, admittedly not always much advanced warning on streams, and other things that cross my mind, feel free there. It's been a genuine pleasure to be streaming for you all tonight, and I will see you same time next week. The plan is, once again, 7 o'clock UK time until 9 o'clock UK time. Trying to keep this going on a weekly basis, and I'll let you all know if there's any changes or disruptions to that. It's been a pleasure. Ta-ra.